tomorrow the world will wake and get it right. But I have my doubts, yeah. So during the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming down. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts. But they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. So roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. And I have my doubts. So I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back up. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think, well, I lie awake and contemplate at night.
Well, I'm still hoping that I'm wrong. Still not looking like I am. Good evening, watchmen and watchwomen. I tell you what, I've spent the last couple of days working quite a bit, getting stuff done around here. Getting work done on one of the two websites that I'm currently working on. Did plenty of stuff, but what I did most is reflect. I spent a lot of time reflecting over the events over the last whatever period of time. It almost seems anymore. It was like 2 days after the Capitol building incident, and I had said something to, I can't even remember what it was. I said something to Jen, and I was like, wait a minute, when was that? and she told me the date. I'm like, really? It just seemed, it felt like at least an entire week had passed. And it was only 2 days. And I was like, wow. A lot of information. A whole lot of information. In a short amount of time. Not a lot of it good. I would warn those, be careful of all the conspiracy theories going around right now. Man, yeah, I never thought in a million years that the opium smoking could get any more than what it was. And it has. It absolutely has. I saw a video today of the My Pillow guy and his plane with some whacked out thing about him having a meeting with extremely high level officials, and that's possible. But there were a few things about his story that just didn't add up. Now, you're talking about a guy that had already been sued for a scam involving his product, and then, he's known for just kind of running off at the mouth. So don't put a lot of stock in that. Don't put a lot of stock in that. Now, I'm not saying that there's not something happening, that there's not something up, because I absolutely do think there is. What, I don't know. But Trump has been awful quiet, and I get it. He kind of can't tweet. I get that. But he's been quiet. Trump may not be able to tweet, but I guarantee you he knows people that can. I guarantee you he knows people that can. Now, they wouldn't have their account long once they relayed a message for him, but nonetheless, the message would be heard. I don't know what all, since I've seen you, it's hard to say. And we're going to cover the headlines from Friday all the way up until, just before the show here. I believe it was in that time span that Trump had tweeted out something from the official POTUS account, and immediately Twitter nixed it. Man, I get this whole private platform thing and all of that, and I get all that. But the sitting president of the United States, that is mind-blowing to me, that a big tech company can silence the sitting president of the United States of America. That is just absolutely off the wall. I still do not think what happened at the Capitol is what a lot of people, most people think happened at the Capitol. And this is what I've done a lot of reflecting on. I cannot see any way possible that what happened could have happened unless it was allowed to happen. I believe, I do believe that they were allowed to do it. You are talking about a important moment in our country's, I hate to say these words, but democratic process. Why wasn't that building secured better than that? And then let's up the ante on this question a little bit. Considering that there was going to be a Stop the Steal rally, like right next door, why wouldn't they have upped the security on that? It's just amazing. And speaking of that, T Mason, how you doing, man? Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. But I honestly do think, I do honestly think we're being set up. I do. Absolutely 110% think we're being set up. Because there is no way in hell. I've watched the video. I've gone over a lot of video. I've watched video of them marching up to the Capitol building. I've seen the video to where the Capitol Police or whatever I believe they were Capitol Police, where they just opened the gate. They just opened the gate. Now, earlier on, I had saw where there was a scuffle between rally attendees and the police, and there was a little bit of pushing, shoving, and trying to yank gates back and forth. I saw that, but later on, once they got past that point, later on, they walked up to another point, and there were two, and I believe they were Capitol Police standing there, and there was some conversation back and forth for a little bit, and then they literally just opened the gate. Now, years ago, gonna be a funny little story for you. Hope you're ready for story time. Years ago, I was in a vehicle traveling behind another vehicle, and the vehicle in front of me had a green vegetable substance in the trunk. I can't even remember, 26 pounds, something like that. Of course, it's not such a big deal today, but Las Cruces, New Mexico. And came up to a Border Patrol checkpoint. And vehicle in front of me stopped. Of course, I stopped behind it. And the Border Patrol checkpoint guy, or the Border Patrol officer, came out, spoke with the gentleman in the driver's seat for a moment, walked to the back of the vehicle, just kind of looked at the back of the vehicle for a little bit, just kind of stood there and stared at the back of the vehicle for a little bit. Then he walked back up, talked to the driver again. Driver gets out of the car, walks to the back of the car with the Border Patrol agent. Apparently the Border Patrol agent ordered him to open his trunk, in which he did. Border Patrol agent stuck his hand inside the trunk and immediately pulled his hand back out, pointed at the driver, pointed at a parking spot next to a little bitty building. And this is where the point of my story is coming from. Little bitty building. Now, if you've been past a Border Patrol checkpoint, you know it's not big, huge buildings. They're about the size of like a weigh scale building. Not big. I'm telling you, it was like a clown car. The amount of officers that immediately came out of that building, it was mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. No way they could all fit in the upstairs. Apparently there was a basement. No way that they could all fit up in the upstairs at the same time. No way. We're talking that many people. That many officers, agents, whatever you want to call them. This is the Border Patrol checkpoint. So I'm expected to believe that at the U.S. Capitol building, on the day that the new claimed whatever guy is confirmed, or supposed to be confirmed, that they're just going to be lax on security. I'm not buying it. Not for a second. So now we need to stop then. Once we have this understanding, we need to slow down here. And we need to say, wait a minute. How come nobody on either side, Democrat or Republican, thought that they might have needed to up the security? In fact, I would venture to bet that every other day of confirmation, if you will, that they had higher security than what they did. So why not then? It kind of reminds me of Pearl Harbor. Kind of reminds me of 9/11, does it not? Lax security allowed things to happen that shouldn't have been able to happen. So let's go with that for a second. Follow the conspiracy theories and whatnot. Why was Pearl Harbor allowed to happen? Why was 9/11 allowed to happen? In both cases, so that we could go into military conflict. We could go into war. So I'm going to ask you, who is the war against this time? Because obviously in Pearl Harbor it was against Japan. Obviously 9/11 it was against countries in the Middle East. So who would the war be against this time? Things are not as they seem, ladies and gentlemen. The other thing that I've been spending my weekend or my days off doing is trying to get through to people to store food. And it's like I'm talking to a brick wall. I know a lot of gun owners. I know a lot of conservative-minded people. I would say I lean a little bit more conservative. I don't pick a side, but I definitely lean more conservative. There's no doubt about that. But I can't, for some reason, get through to folks that it doesn't matter if they've got 500,000 rounds of ammo. If you've only got 2 weeks of food, you're screwed. And I cannot seem to get that through to people at all. I have been banging my head up against the wall trying to get people to go out and buy some rice, some beans, something. But all they want to do is sit on their ass at home, share memes, and talk about conspiracy theories. That's a recipe for failure. And I wouldn't give a damn so much if it wouldn't be my ass too that's going to go down with everybody else. It's ridiculous. If you can, please reach people. It's not easy to do. Please try to reach people. Please, heavy on the food. Because I think that's where people are probably least prepared. I'm hearing reports of several Walmarts in our area being pretty low on things, not just food or anything in particular, but just shelves look pretty bare, just generally throughout the store. You throw on my glasses here. Looking over at the chat real quick. Agenda 21, Truth 1. Yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly. That is not their building. That is our building. And I don't think that for any reason that we the people should be locked out of our building. And in fact, as I recall, the founding fathers made it very clear that everything the government did was to be transparent. And it's kind of hard to be transparent when you're locked behind closed doors. So, yeah, I agree with you. I do. I don't so much take issue with what happened at the Capitol building. I just think that they picked the wrong reason. And when I say pick the wrong reason, don't misunderstand me. For decades, there's been reasons why that should have been done. For decades, and now over one man, that just feels cheap. Millions of fathers right now, I'm one of them, can't see their children, right? Not through anything that they did, but just because we have a corrupt family court system, and all it takes is an angry mother, and that's that. And it used to be that if you didn't get to see your kids, you weren't responsible for child support. Well, that's all changed. Now they wring the fathers out to dry. The fathers don't even get to see their kids or anything else. Why in the hell wasn't something done about that? I mean, to me, that's huge. Or how about these organized churches that, and I'm not calling the one out in particular, but you'll know which one I'm talking about. These organized churches that are involved in these huge sex scandals, these, and it gets covered up. The clergy gets moved from location to location to location. It gets covered up. The American people do nothing. How about the kids in school that are getting beaten to a bloody pulp by the school resource officer? And it's nothing but silence. Why? Now, I'm, definitely one to say better late than never. But really? I just hope people start putting back food and other supplies because, again, it doesn't matter how many rounds you got. When you're hungry, you're hungry. And as you've heard many channels say, and it's very, very true, you're not going to hunt and fish your way to prosperity. It's not going to happen. Because that's what everybody's thinking they're going to do. And inside of 2 months, you won't be able to find a deer, a squirrel, a rabbit in the woods. In fact, at that point, the most hunting in the woods is going to be human on human. And it would probably at that point be actually bad luck to get an animal because somebody's likely going to kill you to take it. This is the reality that we're facing. This is the reality that we're facing. And I honestly don't think that it would be any different regardless of who was in office. I don't. I think this has been coming. I think that it would have worked out this way either way. I think possibly the only difference would be is if Trump would have been the one selected, by the powers that be. Then I think that it might have held off a little bit longer, but I think Biden's going to be running out of the gate, so to speak, and I do not have a good outlook for the very, very, very near future, and that's even if we can make it to that. I mean, this is what's going on is absolutely insane. Brian, I agree. Yeah, everything. Taxes, everything. I mean, it's absolutely insane what our government has been, what we allowed our government to do all the way up to this point. And the founding fathers were very aware of that. They even included it in the Declaration of Independence about how mankind will put up with just unbelievable abuses before they actually do something. And my biggest question out of all this would be has it been enough? Has it truly been enough? Or are people just venting, and once they vent a little bit, they're just going to deal with it and move on? I don't know. I don't know. Again, I've sat here and watched for decades as the American people have done nothing about just absolutely insane injustices happening on large scales. I mean, when you got the guy that gets a 30-year sentence because he had a couple of pounds of weed in his trunk, and then you get the guy that does a 6-month sentence for sexually assaulting a minor. And when I say minor, I mean like 6-year-old or something like that. This is mind-blowing to me. And we, the American people, have up till now just accepted it. I hope we're done. I hope we're done. You know, I'm really hard on people. I am. And if you've seen my Facebook page the last couple of days, I've been extremely hard on people. And part of it isn't really that I'm being hard on them. It's not that I hate them. I'm trying to get them to move. I'm trying to get them to get off their asses. And I have learned from personal experience the most important and the most effective change that comes in one's life is when they get pissed off at themselves. And so if I can help push that along a little bit, I don't care if they get pissed off at me. I care less. But if I can get them pissed off at me and then them go and reflect a little bit on what I said and then get pissed off at themselves and then take action, I achieved my goal. Even if they never speak to me again, that's fine with me. I don't care. I just want them to help themselves. That's all. I just want them to help themselves. Carlene, I absolutely agree with you 110%. Yes, and we've long past due been needing to water that tree. Long past due. Oh, I'm sorry, Brian, you had asked if I think Trump has a plan. You sure you want me to answer that? Because I do. I think he's got a plan. I think he's in on this. I think he's a part of it. Plain and simple. I think he's a part of it. Folks, you got to realize Trump encouraged, note what word I used there. Trump encouraged the most amount of gun legislation to be passed since Bill Clinton. Do you realize that? Bill Clinton, which I can't remember the name of the act off the top of my head, but it was just, that screwed up gun owners for a little while when Clinton put in that Firearms Act. And no president since Clinton has enacted that much gun legislation or encouraged it. Remember, I use that word since him. I realize a bump stock ban's really not that big of a deal, but I damn well think the red flag law is a big deal. And let's fast forward to today. Now, you've got where your family member or your neighbor can say, you know what? My neighbor's a big Trump fan, and they've been acting, like they've been extremely agitated over this election, and, they've got a lot of firearms, and I'm a little concerned. So, we really need to think about this. Really need to think about this. I'm always going to say that we're supposed to put the father first. I have to say that. It's fact. But somewhere short after that, should be yourself and your loved ones, your family. Right? I don't think it should be God, Trump, family. Something with that don't fit, that just doesn't sit well with me. God, Trump, family. Just doesn't sit well. But that's what we're seeing. That is absolutely what we're seeing today. People are putting a man before their own family. And that's not good. It's absolutely not good. And I agree, Brian. We need a revolution. We need to reboot the Constitution. That's exactly what we need to do, is reboot the Constitution. We've got a great foundation. I'm convinced we've got the best foundation of any country, any nation that has ever existed. But we let lawyers and hacks destroy it. And I would say that we need to add an amendment that was reported to be taken out, and that we need to ban lawyers and attorneys, period, from this country. Not allow them. Not allow them. Ladies and gentlemen, if something were to happen to where you and I would need to go to court over something, that should be you and I in front of that judge, not your lawyer and my lawyer. Now, I'm not saying that we couldn't have counsel, that we couldn't have help, but it should be us representing ourselves. It shouldn't be a matter of, the lawyers and the judge and their golf outing the weekend before, which is in a lot of cases the way it is. I was involved in a family court deal years ago with my oldest boy, and so I went in, and this is all I wanted. I was not disputing child support. I was fine to pay it. I was happy to pay it. Whatever, didn't bother me. That wasn't the issue. What the issue was is that my son was not living with his mother. Okay, my son was living with his grandmother. And so I was paying the child support, and when that check came, it came in the daughter's name, my ex's, the mother's name. And now, again, the only time that my son's mom would see my son would be like Christmas, when she would show up to get her Christmas gifts. That's it. She didn't care about him. She didn't give one damn about him. But she would be there when that check showed up in that mailbox. And she'd take it, and she'd cash it, and she'd go party with it. And I had an issue with that. Rightfully so. So I took it to court. And all I wanted was the name changed on that check. I wanted those checks to go to the grandmother, since she was the one that was taking care of my son. It cost me thousands of dollars and over a year in court to get a name changed on a child support check, and they were all fighting me on it. What the hell sense does that even make? It doesn't. And I don't mean to be interjecting me into this, but let's face it, my life's the only one I've lived. And I can really only tell you in depth about my own experiences. I'm telling you, this country, that was Trey was born in 93. That was 95-ish. Well, no, it'd been after that. Sorry. Don't mean to intentionally mislead. It'd actually be around 1999 to 2000 when I went to court for that. Somewhere around there. Between 98 and 2000 was when I went to court for that. Which is some time ago. And it's worse now. It's incrementally worse now. So, incrementally, that wasn't the right word. Immensely, whatever. Pick a word close. You know what I'm saying. So, I don't need to tell you, we've got a corrupt system, out of control. Are we going to fix it? I hope. Because I'm tired of this. Not just for myself, but for everybody, for every American in this country. I'm tired of it. This is not how this country was founded to be. I honestly don't believe any single one of us can truly say that we're living a life of pursuit of happiness, that we're able to pursue happiness. I doubt that any one of us could say that. Honestly. I don't think a single one of us could honestly say that, yeah, I've got a, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and nobody's standing in my way for nothing. Unless you're Biden. Sorry. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I hope that we can turn this around. I really do. I don't think it's going to happen. The biggest reason is because the book, the good book says so. It's not going to happen. I would say that's probably the most important indicator to go by. So if the good book says that it ain't going to happen, then what do you suggest Plan B is? Well, that's in the user manual for people too. I would refer you to maybe read the parable of the three virgins. Would be a good start. We need to prepare. We need to prepare. Most important thing that we can do right now is get prepared. If you're already prepared, get more prepared. If you're not prepared, please start. Go tonight and get you whatever you can, like I've been saying here lately, If you can only afford to go and get a 1 pound bag of beans, you do that. And you put that chin up high. You do that and you put that chin up high. And when you can, you go get you another bag of beans or a bag of rice or a can of ravioli. Whatever you can do. As long as you're doing what it is that you can do, the Father will be smiling upon you. And if you do what you can do, and at the end of the day, you get on your knees and you say, "Thank you, Father. Thank you for blessing me with a pound of beans today." There's a good chance He's going to help you again. But you have to be willing to recognize the opportunities and act on them. I'm telling you, this is how I've lived the last 6 years. Jen's seen it. She's been with me. Has it not happened that way? Every time we need something, does He not provide? Every time. Now, it doesn't mean I can sit on my happy ass and He drops it on my lap. Absolutely not. But He opens up a door and He gives me an opportunity to make it happen. Every single time. The Mavic Air 2 is a $1,000 drone. Now, maybe a lot of you can come up with $1,000 easy. I can't. But there was a need for it, for prepping, also to open up more doors for more opportunity for me to be able to take advantage of more career choices, so to speak, to be able to make more money. So it was crazy how all that transpired. And it continues. I'm using that as one example, but it's been time and time again. It really has, ever since we've been together. But that's when I got really serious about my faith. That's when I really got mad at myself and said, you're going to do it right. You're not going to be lukewarm. You're not going to half-ass this. You're going to do it right. And that's when things changed. But anyway, I'm not here for a Bible lesson or anything like that. Here lately, I know I've really been a little heavy on the talk about faith and the Bible and the Father. And I'm not apologetic for it whatsoever. But that was never the intent of the show. Although we are a spiritually based show, hence the Watchman, it's not what we've been all about. And I'm not going to make it all about that unless the Father tells me so. He has not told me so. So we'll keep it about news and prepping and survival and whatever. Anyway, speaking of news, wow, I've been yakking that long. Holy cow. And I'm starting the show tonight, and I'm thinking, I got to keep the monologue short because I got a lot of headlines to go over. Yeah, well, I blew that to hell, didn't I? All right. Well, then, let me have a sip of tea. We'll run through the normal stuff real quick. We'll get to some headline. Fun. All right. Amazon affiliate. We passed the threshold. We're at $10.57. And if anybody's wondering what the threshold is, you have to make it over $10. If you don't make it over $10 in that month, they roll over what you did make to the following month until you do make at least $10, and then they cut your check. But yeah, we made it. So thank you. Seriously, thank you to those that participate in that. For those that don't know, we're an Amazon affiliate. In the description of the videos, there's a link, as well as at the watchmannews.com on the top right there. When you click that link, it just takes you to Amazon with our special link. But when you make a purchase, those items don't cost you anything more, but it throws us a little commission, a little bit for the sale. And all those little bits add up. And it's just a way that doesn't cost you anything to help support the show and what we do. And we do highly appreciate it. Man, I'll tell you what, we don't get a fortune. We don't make a fortune with it. But I'll tell you what, thank the fathers that it usually comes in handy. And a lot of times it comes in for something important. And it is highly, highly appreciated. I really do appreciate it. We also have a Teespring store. Only got 4 different designs. Best way to see what we have there is go to the watchmannews.com. Scroll down on the homepage. We've got 4 different designs currently. You see something you're interested in. There's more than just t-shirts. There's coffee mugs, tote bags, even got leggings for some of them. Just click on the image. If you like a design, click on the image. That'll take you to Teespring, where they have all the other products with that design, and you can make your purchase there. And they throw us a little bit for every shirt, hat, whatever. Well, I don't have hats, but for every shirt, mug, whatever that gets sold, we get a little commission off of it. So, and lastly, probably the best way to help, if you want to help, is our PayPal donate link. That's in the description of the videos, as well as at the watchmannews.com in the main menu. That just takes you to our PayPal donation page. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can do so as a guest with a debit or a credit card, but I always let people know it does say Transforming Disabilities up top. but it also says purpose the Watchman News donation. That way you know you're in the right place. All right, that stuff is out of here. Let's go over this. This has kind of insane too over the past few days. Bing COVID tracker. So they're saying right now, currently, the fatal cases for the last 24 hours, not quite 24 because it's still counting down, but 2,231. For yesterday, where's my mouse? Get over here. For yesterday, they were saying new cases was at, was at 274,600, and nope, that's wrong. 247,540. That's the correct one. And fatal cases, they're saying is 3,437. So I'm telling you, that's a considerable number. It is truly a considerable number. So just be safe out there, folks. Just be safe. That's all I'm saying. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm definitely not telling you to go get a vaccine. But be safe. If you have concerns, if you have health issues or whatever, just put on the damn mask. But make sure you wear like an N95 or better, or else you're just pissing in the wind. You know? But if you've got health concerns, just be safe. That's all we can do is protect ourselves, whether it's from a mugger or a burglar or virus. All we can honestly do is protect ourselves. The way it should be, right? So anyway, for our little town here, we are currently at 1,691 total. That's total confirmed. I have no idea. I didn't even look at it yesterday. I haven't looked at it over the weekend. I mean, whatever. Let's see. Got these things called headlines. Let me have my step. And I'm going to start with Friday. I know you guys and gals have heard all of this a dozen times. But I think it's important, especially right now, just to back up a couple of days and look at the, I want to say it so bad, the cluster, and just kind of see what has really transpired over the past couple of days. It's kind of shocking. Really, truly is. I have a couple of vapes here. I deserve that. As I was saying, I've got a fair amount of projects going good around here, around the house. I pretty well got things all put away. Jen's dad came and visited yesterday, had an awesome visit. And she got like a huge mound of Oreos. That made her very, very happy. And a penguin cookie jar. So she's, in fact, where is it? Somewhere. Oh, I bet it's not. Oh, yeah, it is on my computer because I edited it. Edited it. At least I thought. Bear with me. No, that's not it. I know I didn't throw the picture away. I actually went on a deleting spree today on my desktop. Because, it gets ridiculous. So, my desktop would, remind you of my room when I was a teenager. Absolutely horrid. You wouldn't be able to even walk on the floor. You had to walk on clothes and everything else because, I was a teenager. I wished I wouldn't have been that way. I wished I'd have had parents that would have took me out there and slammed my head. I mean, that was done for other things. I wish it would have been done for organization. It would have sure been nice. No, not seeing it. Okay, give me a second here. Do. Why is a simple task so hard? Here we go. And I got the bookshelf put up. That was cool. I got it a day early. I might have showed that. I don't know if I showed it or not. Got it a day earlier than expected, so Let's see. Okay, so get on the right window here. Where the heck are we? There we are. Okay. Sorry, when you've got 3 monitors and 5,000 windows open, it's kind of hard to navigate sometimes. So this is the bookcase. Don't know if I showed that. I don't know if I showed that Thursday or no. I guess probably not. No, I guess I probably wouldn't have. But got the bookcase. Got it put up. I am absolutely thrilled. I love that bookcase. Man, Jen has some really awesome books, aside from the biblical books that are on the first row there. Jen has some really awesome books. And the entire time we lived at the last place, they were on a small bookshelf, but they were they were in the bedroom, like at the foot of the bed. I mean, it was crazy, and I don't believe in that. I think somebody should be proud of their literature. I think that their literature should be displayed, and so that just elates me. It really does to be able to get that up and get her books displayed, because she likes a lot of like Stephen King, Dean Koontz kind of stuff, and she's got a lot of really awesome books. She really truly does. So, but I got that done. That was a big thing to get done. And then, oh yeah, here we go. Let me, there we go. Had to find the right option. There we go. That's, that was her, what's the word? Her loot, I guess, that she got, for Christmas. It was a late Christmas get together kind of thing. So, yeah, she got a stack of Oreos and a penguin cookie jar to put them in. So, yeah. Anyway, we also got a really nice cook set too, which is nice because I'm the bitch that does all the cooking, and the cookware that I had been using was the set that Jen and I had got when we first got together, and it was literally the cheapest set that Walmart had on the shelf, right? Yeah, the cheapest set, because that's all we could afford. The cheapest set that Walmart had on the shelf. And I had been using that ever since. And so now we've got a real nice Tefal set. And, yeah, I've already used it a couple of times. And in love, absolutely in love with those. So, anywho, make sure I'm not closing anything I need. All right. Okay, now maybe we can do some header lines. Let me get this stuff closed. Okay, that window's good. That window's good. All right, now I should be where I'm at. All right, so let's do this after another sip. Yeah, I just really do hope people are getting ready. I really do. Another quick vape. And make sure you're going through everything. In fact, I've been trying to give little reminders on the Book of Face and stuff. Make sure your communications, batteries are charged. All your batteries. Make sure all your batteries are charged, especially communications, especially flashlights. Don't forget that. Especially flashlights. And beyond flashlights, please have other alternative forms of lighting handy and available. As in, like, when I say handy and available, I mean handy and available. You saw my shelf for a quick second there. Hang on. We open, close tab. Yeah, there. You see my shelf, and you can't see all of it, but you can see the first 2 shelves, right? Right up top, communications, right? Both Jen and I's radio bags. Boom, right there. Right behind the radio bags, in between the medical bag and the radio bags, is my little blowout kit. It's not quite got everything that's in the bare minimum, but as close as possible. That's kind of what I mimicked it after. If Father Yah provides, I really want to get a bare minimum, really bad, really bad. And if Yah provides, that's on my list here quick. Even if I just have to buy the case, you know what I mean? The pouch, and then piecemeal it together, so to speak. But I want a bare minimum bad. But anyway, behind the radio bags, which is in the ACU digital camo, you'll see a little black thing. That's my blowout kit. On top of the blowout kit is my tourniquet. And then the green bag there up top, that's I believe they call it an M17 medical bag, something to that effect, which is a fairly decent medical bag. So that's that. And of course, you see a couple of El Cheapo 48-hour survival bucket things from Wally World, right? They're $20 a piece. So again, if you're somebody that's getting into this and you ain't got a lot of money to do it, those are $20 a piece. And you don't want to try to stock all of that. You don't want to try to live 2 years, stock 2 years worth of those buckets. All right, don't even try that. But to have some of them on hand, they're awful handy. They're awful handy to have, and it's a nice little bucket to have if you need to carry water or other supplies, once you use the food in it. So, yeah, definitely nothing wrong with getting some of those. So, right to the left of the survival bucket is my 60-watt foldable Rockpal solar panel, okay? And in the side pouch, there's just so many different types of connectors that comes to it. A 12-volt, it's a battery charger is what it is, solar charge controller, but it's actually designed, it's a 5-amp battery charger. So that connects right to the solar panel, is actually designed for it. It connects right to the solar panel, good to go. Behind that, you can't really see it because of the little light, the little clip-on light, but that's my 300-watt, I hate calling them a solar generator because they don't generate. It's power bank. So, but the 300-watt power bank, I think it's got 280 watt hours worth of battery in it. Sitting on top of that's binoculars. Okay, and I could go down the list on the other shelves, but no need. But see, that's literally boom right there. This is what I mean by getting ready. Now, behind the Oreo stack on the left-hand side, that you can't see it, there is another bookcase there. The original bookcase we had is just like one of those 3-shelf bookcases, right? But I was mentioning alternative light. Well, there's alternative light there, meaning the form of a Coleman lantern, right? There's also a dual-fuel 533 Coleman stove right there, along with another, it's in a Folgers canister, and another Folgers canister is spare parts and whatnot, funnels and stuff like that for the Coleman gear. Okay, so yeah, it's all there. And in a closet that's not far from where I'm sitting right now, I have 3 gallons of Coleman white gas. Well, not Coleman brand, it's the generic, but it's white gas for the Coleman. And then inside the same closet, I've got a 2-burner Coleman stove. Okay, so we've got literally, I can snatch it right up, provide ways, even if we had an EMP and our LED flashlights don't work, because that's something you have to remember. If you have an EMP, your LED flashlights are dead. They're done. They are done because LED won't survive an EMP. Not at all. Not only that, but like if you use 18650 batteries, most 18650 batteries have a protection circuit built in them. Okay, it's right on top. Okay, I should say built on them. Sometimes it's on bottom. Let me make that very clear. Sometimes it's on bottom, sometimes it's on top. But an EMP would fry that protection circuit for that 18650 battery, so it would no longer work. So here's a life hack. If you're caught in that situation, there's an EMP or some other type of disturbance that causes the failure of electronic chips, you can take that protection circuit off of most of those 18650s. Now, I'm not telling you to do it because that would be bad advice, very dangerous bad advice. But I'm just saying that if you are in a position, you could take it upon yourself to remove that protection circuit off of that 18650 battery so you could utilize that battery even though the protection circuit was failed. So keep that in the back of your head. but make sure you've got alternative forms of this stuff ready to go at the snap of a finger. Seriously, light, ways to heat or food. Make sure your communications, medical, make sure you've got this stuff literally right there. Literally right there. Okay? It's important. It is really important. Folks, the Minutemen weren't called Minutemen because it took them an hour to get ready. Let me say that again. Minutemen weren't called Minutemen because it took them an hour to get ready. Let that sink in. Seriously, it's kind of cold out there, and a lot of sinks are like porcelain and stuff. Bring it inside. It's cold. Anyway, enough with the silliness. Let me do headlines like I said I was going to do 20 minutes ago. Stuff's important, you know, and I don't want to be in a position to where I'm standing there in front of the Father saying, I wished I would have said that. I want to make sure I say it. Okay. Headlines. Another quick bit. Vertigo sucks. I looked over in the chat. I get vertigo if I'm like watching certain things, like if I'm watching a drone video and somebody's near the top of a building or something. I get vertigo real bad. It sucks. What I hate worse than that is tinnitus. Ugh, tinnitus drives me up a wall. Let's see. Okay, starting with news from Friday. Police officer dies after being injured during U.S. Capitol riots. I'm sure you've all heard about that. Let's see. Western pundits still insist country on brink despite repeated predictions of apocalypse falling flat. U.S. suspends tariffs on French luxury goods over tax on Silicon Valley tech giants. And again, this is all Friday's news. USA Today asked to ID rioters in Capitol invasion. Readers question whether summer unrest was treated differently. Do they really have to ask that? I mean, really? I mean, I'm frustrated by this. And, you know, it's just the difference is unbelievable. You know, now I get what happened at the Capitol building and yada, yada, yada. But you know what they did not do at the Capitol building? Burn it down. They didn't burn it down. They did not burn down the Capitol building, right? They didn't destroy private businesses. They didn't do a lot of stuff that we have sat there and watched happen month after month after month. And I think the difference in the treatment is indescribable. And that also supports what I was saying about I think this is a setup. One of the quickest ways that you can get a group of people to resist is injustice. Injustice. And if they aren't clearly trying to display a large amount of injustice, I don't know what it is. Just the election alone, right? And the lack of interest in investigating whether or not there was any fraud. Look at that injustice. And then the injustice of the treatment of these individuals versus the treatment of, the mostly peaceful protesters that were burning down innocent businesses. And, yeah. And it's all rioters, right? They were rioters. There is no mostly peaceful rally attendees, right? No, they're rioters and insurrectionists and domestic terrorists. And what the hell was going on in Portland? It makes no sense. But That's part of why I am saying that this is staged. This is set up. Pfizer study suggests vaccine effective against new coronavirus strains. Oops. Vast chasm opens up near Italian hospital, swallowing multiple vehicles. A COVID center was evacuated. Japan dismisses South Korean ruling ordering Tokyo to compensate comfort women in ongoing row over World War II sexual slavery. Corporate speech policing fears grow as U.S. Senator loses book deal over election objections. I mean, and that's insane too. And I'm just going to keep going because the insanity with censorship and everything else is just off the charts. Vaccine might not work properly against mutated COVID-19 variant, warns UK minister hours after Pfizer study claims the jab is effective. Still on Friday. FBI offers $50,000 reward for information about suspected pipe bombs planted in D.C. amid Capitol unrest. Global index providers follow Wall Street, remove Chinese telecom stocks. D.C. law enforcement holds massive vigil for fallen police officer killed during Capitol riots. Where's the vigil for the young woman that was killed? Or how about the other 3 individuals that had died? Again, it's not fair. It's not equal. Where's the equality? Gorbachev, once America's greatest friend in Moscow, believes Capitol invasion calls into question the stability of the U.S. as a state. Now, a lot of times I don't really give a damn what other people like this say, but this was a bit striking. From this gentleman, this was a bit striking, okay? I get it. Russian president, yada, yada, yada. I get it. Mr. Gorbachev was responsible for a lot of good things. He really was, and I will give the man credit where credit is due. Him and Ronald Reagan moved mountains together. And I appreciate his efforts in ending the Soviet Union and trying to create something better for those people. And that's just the reality of it. Negative COVID-19 test to be required for all international arrivals in England and Scotland. UAE to reopen borders with Qatar as Gulf states settle years-long diplomatic feud. Canine coronavirus behind the outbreak of kennel cough in Canada, veterinarians say. Sounds like more fear-mongering. EU member states cannot negotiate their own COVID-19 vaccine deals, says von der Leyen. Big tech censorship comes after MAGA at Capitol conveniently offers justification. Emily Ratajkowski and others say, and I know I completely butchered her name. Bitcoin continues to break records after pushing through $40,000 milestone. And I do believe before we get down here, it's going to have passed 45,000. I don't know where it's at now. I'm kind of curious. Let's go take a peek, shall we? I guess it dropped back down 35,936, but still, like, wow. Incredible. I don't think it'll be there long, but indeed incredible. EU regulator gives green light to take an extra dose from Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine trials. Completely untrustworthy, Iran bans import of coronavirus vaccines from the U.S. and Britain. Third COVID-19 vaccine approved for use in the UK as government authorizes Moderna jab. Almost couldn't get that out. Let's see. Viewers blast TV show asking about rewards for snitching on neighbors breaking COVID rules. This is over, I believe, in the UK. Absolutely mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. And you can bet it's probably going to happen here, especially if we're under a Biden administration. You can bet it's going to happen here. I jokingly said, because you guys know I don't support any politicians. I'm not going to take a side. But as I stated earlier in a comment on Facebook, I would much rather not be supporting a Trump presidency than not supporting a Biden presidency. I think that speaks for itself. All right, Hungary's Orban says he's still in vaccine talks with China, Russia, and Israel as EU's von der Leyen warns about unilateral deals. It's now pointless to refer to U.S. as a model of democracy. Russian politicians react to storming of U.S. Capitol building. We're not supposed to be a democracy. Can we say constitutional republic? I knew you could. Virus out of control. London mayor declares major incident over rapid COVID-19 spread. Sri Lanka rejects plea to stop cremating Muslim COVID-19 victims. Yeah, I've got an issue with that. I do. I really do. Your last wishes should be respected. Period. Your last wishes should be respected. If at all, I mean, if it's reasonable. I mean, I don't expect to say I want to be buried in a golden Mercedes, and I don't expect people to make it happen. But when it comes to your type of burial or your type of service or whatever, yeah, I think it should be respected. You know, this has nothing to do with the particular religion or anything like that. This has to do with last rites. And I think they should be respected. I think this is wrong. Very, very wrong. Scientists observe quantum sense, which may explain how animals see the magnetic fields for the first time. I saw this headline and I was like, wow. The amount, I mean, now it's 2021, but over 2020, the amount of scientific accomplishments that and medical accomplishments that we had made were mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. It's wow, you know. UK professor who received OBE refuses to bend the knee after 600 academics sign a letter denouncing her transphobic views. Russian stock market hits all-time high as hopes for recovery boost global investment sentiment. U.S. unrest is a disgrace for democracy, Turkey's Erdogan says, and hopes peace will return after Biden's inauguration. God, I feel dirty just saying that. Worse than Benghazi, prosecutors say they'll track down rioters as liberals compare Capitol riot to Libyan debacle. But yet, we can't even bring up Portland. Why? Denmark to roll out coronavirus vaccine passport for travelers in early 2021. Now, you know what else Denmark's going to do? Yeah, they're going to kick tourists out of the pot shops. I think that's going to be in the headlines too. That's not cool, Denmark. AP correspondent shoved around by MAGA protesters who mistook him for an Antifa provocateur. Now, I don't know if it's the one, but I do know that in watching the video live as events were unfolding that day, I do remember seeing AP equipment, camera equipment and stuff like that literally being just torn all to hell and thrown on a pile. I'm assuming it's probably equipment from the same gentleman. Let's see. U.S. loses 140,000 jobs, first monthly loss since the spring. U.S. registering the highest deaths yet from the coronavirus. Again, that was Friday's news. Trump promises great American patriots who voted for him will have a giant voice in the future. Outbreak of highly pathogenic H5N8 bird flu virus detected in Lithuanian poultry. Or close. British woman fined for not going on walk. For not going on walk? Okay, let me try this again. British woman fined for going on walk and told by police that carrying tea is classed as a picnic. So now I guess if you're carrying a cup of tea, that's a picnic? Oh my God. In the insanity, please. Trump finally faces reality amid talk of early ouster. Biden to speed release of coronavirus vaccines. Pelosi orders Capitol flags to fly at half-staff because of her face. In honor of the cop fatally injured in the riot. And her face. Oil rallies to 11-month highs on surprise Saudi cuts and U.S. crude supply drop. And her face. Dominion voting system suing pro-Trump lawyer Sidney Powell for $1.3 billion with a B. As in, what a bit. No, kidding. Just kidding. Where was I? Ukraine Zelensky orders probe after accusations that members of Kiev's political and business elite got smuggled COVID-19 vaccines. The latest GOP Senator Murkowski calls for Trump resignation. UK competition body investigating Google privacy plan to ditch third-party cookies from Chrome. Send all the cookies to Jen. United Ireland with 25 years thanks to disaster. Brexit, UK's former Home Secretary predicts. I butchered the hell out of that headline. Out of puff, here we go. Amsterdam mayor pushes for ban on marijuana-loving tourists visiting coffee shops. What a prick. Let's see. This was a video from Durban that was on Friday. Senator Dick Durbin in Illinois. And Dick was talking about the whole situation at the Capitol building, whereas Dick had some very strong opinions about it. Thanks for the video, Dick. Cancel culture has to stop. CNN Journal gets taste of PC mob for daring to recognize Trump took a different tone on Capitol chaos. For their own protection, Vice reporter jokes that looted artifacts from the U.S. Capitol might turn up in an Iraqi museum. Maybe eBay. A German region approves cremation. Why am I butchering so bad? German region approves creation of fund to bypass U.S. sanctions designed to stop Gazprom's vital Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline. Putin's wildest dream, Russian president celebrating storming of U.S. Capitol buildings, says liberal pundits and politicians. I don't think he is. I don't think Putin's amused by any of this. Now, Xi Jinping might be, but I don't think Putin is. I don't think Putin's that way. I don't. I think Putin wants peace. I think Putin just wants to try to improve his country the way he best sees fit, and I don't think he wants to be bothered in the process of doing that. And I really don't think he wants to bother anybody else in the process. That's just my opinion. Researchers find no sign that patients on immunosuppressive drugs at higher risk from severe COVID-19, says Johns Hopkins. Sleeping giants demand Google and Apple pull Parler app from their stores over incitement to violence. And of course, you know how that debacle played out. It'll be in the headlines. Denmark restricts travel from all countries to win time in battle against COVID-19. We're still on Friday's news, by the way. Resigning not enough for Democrats. House Majority Whip Clyburn slams chaos. Might as well just call her chaos. Chow and DeVos for quitting without ousting Trump. Facebook bans pro-Trump walk-away group as social media turns up censorship crackdown. And I mean, it has gotten insane. It has gotten insane. Anger over Cuomo's COVID vaccine rules after reports of doses being thrown out left unused due to lack of eligible recipients. Effing hell, this isn't a parody account. This is priceless. This was sad. Effing hell, this isn't a parody account. UK police backtrack after being mocked for threatening COVID fines over snowballs. Because people were mocking him. It was priceless. It was priceless. People started immediately mocking. That's. I'm just. That's priceless. I'm sorry. I thought it was hilarious. Media and Democrats are launching second war on terror against Americans, Glenn Greenwald warns. Pelosi consults with military brass on how to keep nuclear codes out of Trump's hands. This was a concerning headline for me, and it still remains to be a concerning headline to me because I read false flag into this. Think about this. Think about this. What if Iran got nuked? What if, quote unquote, the deep state nuked Iran and blames it on Trump? Yeah. It's going to be like this wherever you go. Trump supporters confront and heckle Lindsey Graham at D.C. airport. And, you know, conservatives are really coming under fire for this heckling and whatnot. And, you know, apparently these people that are doing the heckling and the shaming and all that, they're evil, evil, evil people. But yet Pelosi and scores of other Democrat politicians were encouraging Democrats to harass and berate Republicans. And it was happening. It was happening on a large scale. But that was okay. And again, remember what I said earlier about the injustice. And when they want people to fight, when they want this stuff to happen, they will push those injustices in your face as much as they can. And have they not been doing that? Let's see. Republican Senator David Perdue concedes vital Georgia election to Democrat John Ossoff, giving Dems Senate control. House Democrats leak draft of Trump impeachment for inciting insurrection. A DOJ investigating whether national security secrets were stolen during the U.S. Capitol siege as more protesters are arrested. Still on Friday's news. Officials say man seen in viral photograph at Nancy Pelosi's desk. He'd been arrested. I can't remember what the rest of the actual headline was, but he had been arrested. Kim Jong-un threatens to expand his nuclear arsenal in response to the U.S. Hostility. I didn't know that there was new U.S. hostility, but okay. U.S. democracy, and that's the one thing. Trump moved mountains when it comes to North Korea. Moved mountains when it comes to North Korea. That was one of the things I really applauded him on. Let's see. U.S. democracy is a lie. Hezbollah leader Nasrallah says Capitol siege is a result of Trump's criminal tactics used in Syria and Iraq. I don't think so, Skipper. Twitter purges lawyer Sidney Powell, General Flynn, and others amid post-Capitol crackdown on QAnon. Twitter permanently suspends Trump over how his tweets were received and interpreted. That's his fault? Biden the unifier, ? President-elect likens Cruz, Hawley to Nazi propagandists. Goebbels says they share the blame for inciting violence. Still on Friday's news. A lot of headlines. Lehigh University, I think that's Lehigh University, rescinds honorary degree given to Trump in 1988, citing violent assault on the foundations of our democracy. It's not a democracy, it's a constitutional republic. U.S. Army chief says National Guard troops may carry firearms in D.C. ahead of inauguration amid heightened security concerns. Parler suspended from Google Play Store faces imminent ban from Apple App Store. Shocking glee, Twitter's ban of U.S. President Donald Trump evokes shadow of Orwellian corporate dictatorship. Yes, indeed it does. We will not be silenced. Trump tweets from official POTUS account after ban and post scrubbed within minutes. Again, man, that should not be allowed to happen. North Korea's Kim says next U.S. president will likely continue barbaric sanctions. I would agree. Absolutely would agree. Twitter bans Trump campaign account as Reddit and Discord join big tech drive to purge president and supporters from online platforms. Crazy. DC cop speaks out, says cops were among rioters storming the Capitol and flashed badges to get in. And this has been, proven over and over and over and over. Just one more stone to add on top of that pile of this was a setup and that this was allowed to happen. Oh, wow. We're to Saturday. Oh, thank you, Lord. CDC launches probe after very healthy Miami doctor dies 2 weeks after taking Pfizer's COVID-19 jab. And that's Miami. I believe there was a couple of doctors in California, if I'm not mistaken. Trump staffer suspended on Twitter after offering account to the president. There's a meme going around. It's hilarious. It's a young man mowing the grass at the White House. And and Trump's talking to the young man. And in the meme, he's saying, hey, can I borrow your Twitter account? Mozilla says deplatforming Trump isn't enough. They want to shield the internet from bad actors as users uninstall Firefox in disgust. Well, I never used Firefox because it disgusted me. I want a browser, period. I don't want a browser that mows my grass for me. I don't want a browser that wipes my ass for me. I just want a browser, right? That's it, a browser. And that's why I use Chrome. Because I can install Chrome and it's pretty naked and real fast. And I like it like that. If I want something there, I will add it. I don't need them to make that choice for me. China hits back at unjustified foreign laws that hurt its business. Twitter strikes again. Iran's supreme leader tweets about untrustworthy UK and US vaccines deleted. The only reason that happens is because that goes against their agenda. Hillary Clinton posts accidental self-own with single emoji response to Trump losing his Twitter account. Whom to cancel next? Singer. Ariel Pink dropped by label after artists attended pro-Trump rally that led to Capitol unrest. Indonesian transport minister confirms Boeing passenger jet with over 60 on board crashed into Jakarta Bay. And again, this is Saturday. Mixed signals, tech firm soars over 1,100% as confused investors pile into wrong stock after Musk's advice. Ayatollah still can tweet. Trump supporters point fingers at Iran's leader just as he runs into trouble with the platform too. Had to yawn. Here, let me have a vape. I need a vape. Oh. Goodness. One sec. Figured you didn't want to hear me blow my nose. You're welcome. Alright, let's see. Searchers find debris during operation to locate missing Boeing jet in Indonesia, again on Saturday. 3 killed after massive avalanche hit ski resort in Russian Arctic city of Norilsk. Russia more than doubles natural gas exports via Turk Stream pipeline. Tech oligarchs at Apple and Google are major obstacles for Trump-friendly platform to arise, says liberal studies scholar to RT. Bojo gets an earful from fed-up Brits as UK government launches ad campaign urging compliance with third national lockdown. Let's see. Our people won't be a testing device. Tehran bans trials of foreign vaccines on Iranians. American exceptionalism hurt by violent Capitol debacle. Expect Biden to push aggressive foreign policy and bid to repair the damage. We'll see. I mean, I expect an aggressive foreign policy, period. Under a Biden administration, I think it's going to go right back to the same. I think the country's going to be put right back into the hands of the military-industrial complex to do as they see fit, just like it was under Obama. And I do think that Trump, that's one of the things I applaud him for as well, is he seemed to pull away from that a bit. He didn't seem like he really wanted to be at war. WHO receives 13 vaccine proposals for emergency use, expects to get full data on Sputnik 5 by the end of January. Let's see. Why doesn't Facebook just buy your data if it's so valuable? I don't know. Stop making these damn Bolsheviks rich. Ben and Jerry slated for condemning white privilege riot on Capitol Hill. And this is a narrative that I see getting pushed continually now, too. That somehow this that happened at the Capitol building had to do with racism. No. I don't think that was in any way a factor. Why the hell is it being shoved in the mix? Oh, yeah. Agenda. That's that. They need a custom flavor and just call it our agenda. Notorious rioter who carried away Nancy Pelosi's lectern during Capitol siege arrested in Florida. And I still say, there's a lot of people that say that this guy has been seen at BLM events. Man, I'm still telling you, that face looks awful familiar. And I would swear he was at Malheur Wildlife Refuge. I would swear to it that he was at Malheur Wildlife Refuge. I'd swear to it. I don't forget faces that easy. Let's see. A West Virginia GOP state lawmaker who stormed U.S. Capitol, who recorded himself. Let's see. I can't remember the rest of the headline. Oh, faces criminal charge. Sorry. Pope to be vaccinated against COVID next week. Labels opposition to jabs suicidal denial. And you're going to hear in a little bit about how his personal doctor allegedly died of COVID-19. I'm telling you, I don't believe a whole hell of a lot of these headlines. Spaniards skiing and dog sledding on Madrid streets as freak blizzards kill 3. And I'm not saying RT is trying to be purposely misleading. I think that the powers that be are being purposely misleading. Let's see. After Capitol Hill riots, children rat out their right-wing parents to the media. Let me repeat that. After Capitol Hill riots, children rat out their right-wing parents to the media. The very same thing happened in Nazi Germany. The very same thing. That is where we are at right now, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly where we are at in this nation right now. Renowned Russian physicist behind the first Soviet nuclear bomb dies at age 101. Horned QAnon shaman, Capitol invader arrested on federal charges as law enforcement cracks down on rioters. Not mostly peaceful ralliers. Massive power grid failure plunges Pakistan into darkness. Over 200 million people. And I don't think it's quinky-dink. I honestly, to tell you the truth, I honestly feel like this power outage is somehow related to their, big paycheck for gender studies. I honestly feel that. I honestly think that. I think that was payback. BLM supporters melt down after Kenosha shooter Kyle Rittenhouse spotted legally drinking beer at a Wisconsin bar. And he paid his bail, right? For now, he's a free man. And German foreign minister proposes joint EU-US Marshall Plan for democracy following the Capitol riot. Was that 1992 or 1984? Trump haters call on Hollywood to digitally remove the president's cameo appearance from Home Alone 2. Can you believe that? That is insanity. One China policy null and void. Trump creates diplomatic hot potato for Biden as Pompeo ends all restrictions on Taiwan relations. Police officers and firefighters probed, employees losing jobs for partaking in U.S. Capitol protest turned riot. Apple suspends Parler from App Store after unrealistic 24-hour deadline to introduce moderation expires. Body parts and debris found after Indonesia plane crash. Again, this is yesterday's news. And now we're to last night. Parler CEO denounces coordinated attack by big tech as Amazon prepares to pull the plug on its servers. Okay, from this morning, cop with 3 previous kills executes unarmed man on his knees with his hands up. Man, this is insane. So let me explain this a little bit. Okay. Apparently, the gentleman that is no longer with us was having issues. Apparently, he had made a claim in which he claimed that he had a firearm and that he was going to essentially go use it on, I believe it was family members. Now, when family members contacted law enforcement, they explicitly told them that they thought he was bullshit, that he was full of it. They didn't think for a second that he had a weapon. And even though the family did that, when this officer got out of the car and rounded the corner, he wasn't even close enough to even be able to positively identify the person. He didn't even take a moment to do it. He rounded the corner of a building and started firing, I believe 4 shots. Pop, 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 pop. Now, I don't know if one of those 4 shots hit the gentleman, but it almost seemed like it did, because it reminded me a lot of what happened with Lavoy Finicum. because I am pretty certain Mr. Finicum was shot with a rubber bullet or something of the sort, taser, something that caused him to reach down. He was in very clear apparent pain when Mr. Finicum reached down. So this guy kept kind of putting his arms down. And it appeared to me like he was wounded. But just that quick, the officer fired off a bunch more rounds, shooting him in the back, and killing him. Man, I'm not cool with the young lady being killed in the Capitol building, and I'm damn well not cool with this. And we need to stop it. We need to stop picking sides and saying, okay, well, it was okay to kill this unarmed person because they were a liberal, but it's not okay to kill this unarmed person because they're not. They're conservative. That is the most insane thing I had ever heard in my life. And I don't think anybody really believes that. I think it goes a little deeper than that, to a level that people just don't want to admit. But, man, wrong is wrong is wrong. This was wrong. I mean, the officer wasn't even close enough to be able to even positively identify whether or not this was the person they were looking for. He just rounded the corner and pop, 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 pop. Insane. And again, we are to today's news. COVID-19 sinks Indian demand for fuel for first time in over 2 decades. Let's see. Indonesian divers find plane parts belonging to Boeing jet that plunged into the Java Sea. I thought it was the Jakarta, but there might be a section called Java. I don't know. Pinterest cracks down on hateful pro-Trump content in latest big tech purge of U.S. president. Musk's wealth keeps soaring, but he wants to ditch worldly possessions to colonize Mars. See ya. Britain is gung-ho about its role in the post-Brexit world, the UN envoy says. A Honduran president wanted to shove drugs right up the noses of gringos, U.S. prosecutors allege. A lot of gringos that probably wouldn't mind that. China plans to turn up heat and crack down on monopolies after opening probe into online giant Alibaba. Democrats beginning to sound like ISIS. Candace Owen hits out at calls for pro-Trump crowd to seek redemption. Another rape. Hang on. Huh. Man, been a long day. Just as far as getting stuff done. Berlin police clash with left-wing protesters during rally marking murder of communist icons Luxembourg and Liebknecht. I'm not sure how that would be pronounced. Liebknecht. Clock ticks towards release of UFO report as emergency relief bill forces U.S. intelligence agencies to reveal knowledge. And we all know how this is going to play out. It's going to be a 500-page report, and you'll be able to read like 3 words. The rest of it all be blacked out. It'll be like the report, and that's all you see. Capitol Hill violence was not a victory for Putin. In reality, Russia fears consequences of political instability in the U.S. And I believe that's true. I believe that absolutely is true. New coronavirus variant with similarities to the UK and South Africa strains is discovered in Japan. Now, they're not saying it is the same one. They're saying it's similar to. So this could be a whole new one. Erdogan's press office ditches WhatsApp as Ankara urges Turks to use domestic apps and fight against digital fascism. Scanning digital health QR code becomes obligatory for passengers using ride-hailing services in Beijing. Apple and Hyundai to start production of self-driving electric iCar in 2024. Well, I say no thank you. I will not suffer Q people. Alex Jones wins MSM plaudits for venting fury at QAnon in viral clip. Yeah, whatever, lapdog. Free speech platform Gab surges in popularity in wake of Silicon Valley's Trump purge. Lincoln Project co-founder accused of grooming young men and offering jobs for sex. Chicago gunman kills 3 and wounds 4 in random spree before being shot dead by police. Man, this dude went on one hell of a spree. One hell of a spree. And I looked and I couldn't find an answer as to why this man has a badge on his chest. In the picture, he has a very clear and evident badge on his chest. Now, he could have been just security guard somewhere or something, but I would like to know what the deal with that is. Russia reports first case of mutated UK coronavirus variant. Now golf, ? Trump Bedminster course set to be stripped of the 2022 PGA Championship in the latest rebuke of the president, says reports. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Pope Francis's personal doctor dies of COVID-19 as pontiff misses scheduled baptism. Lawmakers sheltering from Capitol Hill riot may have been exposed to coronavirus, a physician says. Gotta love adding on to that fear. And I guess what? I guess now, if one single lawmaker dies from COVID-19 over the next, coming weeks, are they going to start slapping murder charges on the people that entered the Capitol building too? I bet they do. I bet they do. Shooting of Capitol rioters saved black lawmakers from lynching, claims a congressman who feared overpopulation may capsize Guam. Huh? Yeah. And this cat, I guess, thought that people were going to start lynching. Again, where did this level of white supremacy come from? With what happened at the Capitol. I didn't see anything indicating anything whatsoever white supremacy. Nothing at all. Had nothing to do with that. Algeria becomes first African nation to approve Russia's Sputnik 5 vaccine. Democrats may delay submitting Trump impeachment to the Senate after the first 100 days of Biden presidency. But I think Pelosi came out and said something directly opposite of this. Men allegedly in viral photos with tactical gear on during Capitol riot are arrested. Army identifies more possible threats after at least 25 domestic terrorism cases opened in connection with the U.S. Capitol breach. And the Army? Posse comitatus, bro? Domestic terrorist or masked dissident. Dems celebrate crying man kicked off flight amid calls for blacklisting Capitol rioters. So they were all cheering because they thought this guy was put on the no-fly list. And apparently, no. He was kicked off for refusing to wear a mask. So... and I do see a number 2 up here, which is, good number. Number 2. Gun owners must stay vigilant and engaged in politics, the NRA says after Biden vows to defeat pro-Second Amendment group. Well, first of all, the NRA is about as pro-Second Amendment as Hitler. Really. I mean, they have done more to hand over gun owners to the U.S. government than what they've done to protect them. They really, truly have. Pelosi threatens Pence with 24-hour ultimatum to declare Trump incapable before launching impeachment process. Yeah, she's not going to wait around. And that's what I was telling you about. I saw it on another headline. It was titled a little bit differently, but the same idea. So, but that's it. Wow. I think ever since we changed the format of the show, this has been the longest show. Wow, almost 2 hours tonight. I'm going to get the hell out of here on that note because I have had a busy day, and I'm going to relax a little bit, maybe watch a couple videos, and then go say hello to my pillow. Not a My Pillow pillow. No, just a pillow, just a cheap pillow. I'm not of My Pillow status. So, but I do drink my coffee with my pinky up. I'm working on it. I hope everybody has a great night. I truly appreciate you for coming. Please get prepared. Most importantly, encourage others to get prepared. Please, we don't have a lot of time to do it. I hope to see you tomorrow, God willing, we will be back here. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit, and shalom.